hopefully we're inching closer to the off season. Get into that. We have a little bit, not a whole lot of Astros news going on. Just again, we got big coaching news. It's just a matter of just we're slowly moving on until we can actually start having real off-season baseball conversations. Bryles, how are you doing, my friend?
Chris, I'm doing fantastic, man. And I know our Astros are out of it, but hey, guys, it's still October. We've got October baseball right now, and playoff baseball is fantastic. I don't care if you are an Astros fan, if you're a whatever fan. If you like baseball, this is the time of year to be watching some baseball. I'm excited about these games, even though we're not in it, which is weird to say. We've been very lucky to see our Astros in here for the last, almost 10 years. And, even though we're out of it, though, it's still a lot of fun. So, anyway, PK, kick it off.
Yeah, no, man, I agree. It's, we were kind of talking offline about, how much have we been watching the games. And, once our beloved Astros got bounced, by Detroit, I was in on Detroit. I wanted Detroit to go all the way, just from an underdog perspective, and because it's a team that beat you, and because it had AJ Hinch, and I wanted to see him succeed now that he took care of us. And that was on the AL side. NL side, I wanted San Diego. I like watching that team play. And for some reason, I've always liked watching Jake Cronenworth. And my son is always like, why Jake Cronenworth? They've got Machado and Xander Bogaerts, and they got Fernando Tatis. And I'm like, for some reason, I'm like, is the name Jake Cronenworth just sounds like he doesn't belong, even though he's good. I don't know why. I'm just like, this dude's pretty good. So, and of course, those two teams got bounced. So, instantly for the AL, I jumped on the Guardians train, and it just disgusts me to watch the Yankees play, man. Like, it really does. And then we flip over to the NL, and the Mets aren't so bad to watch because it's still a New York team, but I want the Dodgers to go down. But it's they're tough, dude. Like, they're just both both Yankees and the Dodgers are just tough, So I usually been watching the games, until they kind of get out of hand, and I'm like, okay, well, that's cool for this one. So I'm glad that Cleveland won tonight. I'm glad they made that a series, because if it was going up 3-0, if New York goes up 3-0, the win's out of your sail at that point. So pretty epic finish to tonight's game with Cleveland. But, you're right. Like, it's postseason baseball. Every pitch, everything is heightened. Every single thing. You look at how far the starters are going for the Mets. They're not going very far. It's like the way Hinch was doing it against us, where it's almost like a batter per batter basis. It's about matchups. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what makes the postseason so great, is because you throw all the stuff that you were doing out the window during the regular season, and then it becomes a batter by batter game. Situation by situation, stats by stats. So it's pretty cool to watch, man. I'm still not wanting LA in a Yankee series, but if MLB wants it, they'll probably get it.
Yeah, I think regardless of where you kind of sit on that totem pole, you're going to see people that are going to say, oh, it's rigged. But at the end of the day, you look at both the matchups. Cleveland is just, here's the thing, man. And we talked about this, which was, again, why we didn't want to get Detroit in such a short series, right? Because anything can happen in a 3-game series. But I think, which we talked about last week as well, that once you get into a 7-game series, you're going to see who the better team is. And unfortunately for both of these matchups, I mean the Mets, I think they just kind of peaked at the right time. I mean they still are not. They said going, after towards the, after the trade deadline last year that they weren't even really caring about 2024. They were looking to compete in 2025. So the fact that they're here in the NLCS against the Dodgers, I mean, the Dodgers were the heavy favorites coming out of the NL since, I don't know, seems like every year. So then
January.
Yeah, and then they go and they add Otani, they go and they add Teoscar Hernandez, they add that kid from Tampa Bay that's never healthy. I mean, but still, they had a good enough squad, to where I think we're going to see. I'd be surprised if that series makes it back to LA. I don't think it will. And then the same thing on the AL side. I mean, the Yankees. I mean, I've been telling everybody that'll listen. I mean, I think if the Yankees, for whatever reason, if they don't make the World Series, I think that's almost worse than them not even, making the playoffs. I mean, because essentially, looking at the teams that went into the playoffs on the American League side, outside of Houston, I mean, the World Series was handed to the Yankees on a platter. I mean, they had to go through potentially 3 AL Central teams, right? I mean, so in a 7-game series, I mean, you're going to see the better team win, and maybe in a 3-game series, maybe Cleveland can upset them. Maybe in a 5, I just don't see it. I mean, it's good to see that they won one in Cleveland. I'd love to see them come back and beat the Yankees, but
yeah, for sure.
you just have 2 better teams playing against teams that are just not quite on that level yet, and that's what we're probably going to get in the World Series is Yankees Dodgers. So
it's fucking depressing.
I agree.
Yeah,
Your brother would be happy.
Yeah, he will be.
I mean, I definitely don't want to see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, but I agree with you. I think that's kind of the direction we're heading. And also to play on what you were saying, it's like I don't think you always get the best winner out of the 3-game series or the 5-game series. 7-game series, like you're going to get the better team no matter what. But you get the hot team. And we've talked about this in the playoffs ad nauseum. I feel like, or at least I have with all of our guys. It's like if you are healthy and you are hot, I mean, you're going to win like playoff games no matter what. It doesn't matter who you're going up against. It's I think the Padres ended up getting the raw end of the deal on that. I thought that they were a pretty hot team. They seemed pretty healthy going into it. They didn't win. The Dodgers seem to be a little bit more beat up, but man, they have caught fire lately. And if there is one team I don't want to see win the World Series, it's the Dodgers. I cannot stand the Dodgers no matter what. Ever since 2017, I just can't handle them. I can't stomach them. I don't care who's playing against them. I want them to lose. It's like an Astros win is just that much better than like a Dodgers loss. That's the way I see it right now. So anyway,
when I watch Max Muncy, like I think he might be the most hated Dodger for me. I don't know.
Kike, dude.
Yeah.
Kike for sure.
I kind of like
he
Kike.
used to be an Astro.
I kind of like Kike.
No, it's well
because he had an interview earlier this year when they asked him about the cheating scandal and everything, and he basically came out and said like, I don't give a fuck, right? Like I played with Boston, like the whole Alex Cora thing with that up there, like not that he had our back, right? But he was just real. Like, look, it happened 4 years ago. Why are we? Or not 4 years ago, but
why are we even talking about it, right?
Why are we still talking about it, right? So I kind of like Kike, but it's like Max Muncy, and when Justin Turner was there, it was the same thing. It was Justin Turner and Max Muncy.
Oh, dude, Justin Turner too. Yeah.
Like, and I don't. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's their face. Like I don't know what it is. It is something, but it's Max Muncy for me. Like I don't know, man. Like I just can't stand the Dodgers, and like I can't stand them, but like the Yankees are like up here when it comes to the Dodgers. Like I want to see them suffer at all costs. So when they don't exceed expectations like it is right now, like I want them to lose, right? Or get to game get to the series and lose. I don't even care. I just want them to lose just so they can whine and moan. I don't know, dude. That's why I'm underdogs in this series. As soon as the Astros went out, I'm like, let's go underdogs. Like, let's go. But you're right. In a 3-game series, man, anything can happen. And it's never going to change because with so much revenue that comes in from having multiple series prior to the World Series, like Major League Baseball is never going to change that. I don't think. I shouldn't say never. They're probably not, because it keeps fans interested a lot longer. It keeps teams in it a lot longer. So from a entertainment standpoint, I don't see it changing. They should, but they should change the amount of games, because I think you're not going to get the best teams, in the divisional series when you have a 3-game series. When, look at Detroit. I mean, I'm not being sour about it. I mean, I am kind of sour that we lost, but overall, like, Detroit did come in hot, right? They came in hot, and Houston should have beat them. Like, we should have beat them, right? But they came in hot. Our bats went cold.
Well, but on paper.
Well,
Even
I think
on paper, on the field, we should beat. Like, honestly, we should beat those guys. We should, right? But our bats went cold. Our pitching was great, and like, those guys were hot coming in, and they stayed hot, until they met Cleveland, and then they didn't. So,
well, I mean, what you saw against Cleveland was the overexposure of scoop ball, and that them riding that one horse, came back to bite them. I mean, but like, as far as what you said about the playoffs, I mean, it's gonna. I mean, you're right. Now that they're making that extra money, and that first series is never going to be more than 3 games,
right?
Because you're not going to sit here and have the division winners wait a week, before they play. I mean, the only way that you could do it fairly is if they ever actually pull the trigger on expanding, and you go to 32 teams, 4 divisions of 4, and let's say you do four division winners and 4 wild cards. And then at that point, you kind of water down the playoffs, because now 50% of your teams in each league are going to make the playoffs.
Right. There's
Then you're like the NBA East.
Yeah.
It's like, then all of a sudden you've got like some team that's like under 500 making the playoffs. I mean, you don't want that.
No.
Well, it's like a division winner shouldn't be playing in a wild card series, right? And that's not. No. It's honestly not me being a homer about it. I'm just being like in general.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
If you win your division, you should be rewarded for winning your division, right? But if you do that, well, then the number 1 team for that league is like, how are you going to do that? Like, who, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
I'm thinking about it off the top of my head. Like, the bracket doesn't work like that. It can't work. You have to add more teams, and
you'd have to. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and then it's watered down. Then the reward for dominating, you don't have to be good all season. You can be around 500-ish and get in and play a wild card series. You just got a tougher road. But division winners, I don't think need to be playing in the wild card.
Well, I mean, really honestly, the only way that you could do that is if you went to the old school way, and then you just have an Eastern division and a Western division. And then you could do like 2 division winners, and then you have 4 wild cards. I mean, you still have 6 teams, but like, you go back to the old school way of there being, I mean, I guess you'd have to expand. So that way you'd have 8 teams in the West, 8 teams in the East, and then that way, I just don't see it happening with 3 divisions.
Right. You got to have 2 divisions so that the top 2 guys get the buys, and then everybody else, like you said, gets the wild card.
But then by doing that, you eliminate 1 round of the playoffs, and then that's all that revenue that they.
And that comes into revenue, and that's not how this. That's not how this works.
Yeah, I mean, you're also looking at right now. Look how like super expensive players were on the trade market at the trade deadline. You open it up to 4 wild cards. Now, essentially,
there's no team that's willing to trade.
I mean, golly, it was slim pickings this year, right? So you imagine it would be maybe 4 teams selling, and everybody else would be probably within a handful of games of making a wild card. And like you said, I mean, like at that point, you look at teams like Arizona, you look at teams that these teams that make it through the wild card and they go on a run. So like now those pitchers coming from Miami or coming from Colorado or anybody that's worth a damn on those teams, the price just went through the roof now.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're probably going to have less trade deadline action, which MLB doesn't want, because they're the only league. I mean, now you're seeing the NFL start to put a lot of emphasis on their trade deadline the last couple of years, because that's the one thing baseball has over everything else is the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you water that down, because now you have 19 teams or 16 teams in the entire league making the playoffs, then that's going to get watered down.
Well, I do have one thing that I can guarantee you that needs to change that will help absolutely everything out. And that is stop putting playoff games in the middle of the day, in the middle of a week. Listen, do you want to gain sponsorship? Do you want to gain viewership? Maybe don't put a playoff game to where every baseball fan in that city can't watch it because it's at a Tuesday at 12:30.
At 12:30.
Yeah, even the Yankees game today, I was shocked. Like
I didn't even know it was going on until I watched it from the 5th inning on. Like I got home and I'm like, oh hey, what baseball game's on tonight? The Yankee game's on already? It was like, what happened?
Well, it's almost over when you turn it on. It's stupid.
Yeah,
exactly. Dude, MLB's got to figure this out, and they keep bitching and complaining about like, oh, we're losing viewership, we're losing sponsorship, we're losing all our fans are aging out. You know why? Because you're putting your playoff games in the middle of the day when kids are in school and when all of us are at work. So what do you expect? Yeah, the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, even like college football, there are no games that are in the middle of the day that you cannot watch. Like any major sport, even go off into women's sports, they're all in prime time spots. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But for some reason, MLB has to absolutely do playoff games in the middle of the day. I don't understand why. It makes no sense. And then they can't. They got to stop complaining about like we can't get viewership, because that is the whole thing.
Well, look at what college football.
I'm off my soapbox.
Like college football right now, like we're in the middle of a 52 straight days of a college football game, of football. 52 straight days of there's a football game on every single night, no matter whether it's college. Of course, NFL starting on Thursday, right? But like football is doing it the way like every night there is a football game, right? And so like if you don't, like for me, for instance, for the Astros, so I have to use my Fubo account, right, to cast the game to my TV to watch it, because my streaming service that I usually use doesn't carry it.
Carry it. Yep, just like
so it's like, and I'm sure I can guarantee you I'm not the only one, right? And to be honest with you, I'm not even paying for the other account, right? Like I'm just using it just so I can cast it. So the fact that like every team has this one sports network that their team is on, and if you don't have the provider or the streaming service that does it, you're shit out of luck, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like first of all, like, and I really don't understand, because I know going back to the game times, like I don't, because they used to stagger the games. Like you would have the NL game on one night, and then the next night would be the AL game, right? But I don't know why they're doing this piggybacking shit where, you know, the Cleveland game comes on at 3:00 in the afternoon. Who wants to watch an ALCS game at 3:00 in the afternoon? Like I'd be pissed. Like if I was a Cleveland fan or a Yankees fan.
But they did the same with Houston, though. Every time. But
like the wild card, I get though, because the wild card you're trying to get, like I said, because what the wild card series boils down to is the fact that you don't want your division winners, your two top seeds, to have to wait more than 3 days. So I get them doing all four of the wild card series, all 4 games in one day. But right now you have.
I know, but I would urge you play them at the same time than actually like what they're doing. I mean,
but then you're competing against yourself, and that would be dumb.
It should be every night. There should be like you said, like they used to. It's the AL's on Monday, NL's on Tuesday, and then that way,
you know, and then that way when the AL is on a day off for a travel day, you still have
the NL.
You have the NL,
vice versa.
So and I know you and I, PK, we've talked about this. The fact that fucking the MLB does not have the right to stream their games. Like, I mean, it worked out when I lived in Charlotte back in 2011. I was able to do the MLB network because I was out of market. I could watch the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it blows my mind how I understand that the MLB, it's all about who's going to pay them the most money, right? So, like DirecTV, Comcast, all those guys. But the fact that you can spend, especially the package that they offer, it's like $180, and you can't even watch your own city. I mean, unless you live out of town, right? Like what blows my mind is the fact that they haven't got to the point where they don't have their own package to where, I mean, they own these teams.
Right.
So how can they not stream an Astros game, every single game from their streaming service? I mean, like this shit writes itself. You could do multiple packages, right? And I understand the playoffs, they hoard that stuff out to like TBS, Fox and all that shit. Whatever. I don't care. But like I should be able in February 1st to say, okay, do I want the package that includes just the Astros games during the season? Or do I want like the package that's the Astros game spring training and regular season? Or I'm the uber fucking baseball nerd where I want to get the spring training games, the regular season games, and fuck it, give me the MLB, the minor league games as well.
No, that's exactly you.
That is what I would want to go. And like I said, and it could be something like $30 a month, $40 a month. And I guarantee you a lot of these people like myself that are paying fucking close to $100 just for fucking Fubo to watch the Astros, that I would much rather pay the $50 because that's the whole reason why I have Fubo is to watch the Astros games.
Yep.
So
I suspended my Fubo account just because
Astros
so baseball's over.
It makes no sense how the MLB cannot stream their own games, no matter if you live within the market or not.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild that there are local blackouts.
I mean, because people will still pay.
There are local blackouts.
Yeah, people will still pay for like the cable providers because they want all the other channels, right? People are still going to pay for Fubo because they want the other channels, right? So, but if you just want to watch, like I said, that's the only reason why I have Fubo is to watch the Astros. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, you can watch the Rocket. You can watch the Rockets now.
I'm not going to watch the Rockets.
Nobody cares about the Rockets. I've got YouTube. I would say I've got YouTube TV to watch the rest of the stuff. But yeah, for the Rockets, no, not so much.
Look, I've been rocking YouTube TV for I don't know how many years. I don't know, probably 6 years, 7 years now. And like I've seen channels go off of that like MLB Network's not on there anymore.
I'm
TV.
really mad about that, by the way.
That really pissed me off because like I started falling in love with Quick Pitch, like the show.
Hell
Quick
yeah,
Pitch.
dude!
It was awesome. And
we got Hot Stove.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about the MLB Network, they started adding all these talk shows. It's like stop. It's like I liked it when, like in the off season they would do like their morning shows from like 9 to like maybe 1, and then they'd have like all of like the top like 50 plays of like the last season, or they'd have like their documentaries and stuff they have. Now you have the morning show with DeRosa, and then you have that fucking guy from New York.
Oh, Mad Dog. Hey, look,
yeah.
you have to if you're gonna call it DeRosa, you gotta call it Robert Flores, man. He's a Houston guy. He's on that in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is now they've turned into a bunch of talk shows. And it's like, listen, man, I like the way it used to be. And then I also enjoyed, turning on the what was it, the MLB Tonight, and just sitting there, and they made a spectacle of every single game. Like it was, I enjoyed that. I mean, so it just blows my mind how they can't stream their own shit.
It don't make any sense. The NFL goes all year round. 365, 24/7. It's always got something like they do it right, man. Like,
and I'm sorry, like, who's playing the NFL game tonight?
New
Orleans. Okay, so you're telling me that if you stagger the games, you're telling me that a Yankees ALCS game couldn't hang with the fucking Broncos versus Saints?
Dude,
I think
that game tonight was amazing. I don't care who you like. If you're a baseball fan, that was an amazing game. So
then or you go to the flip side. Could the Dodgers and Mets, again, the Dodgers being in the NLCS, that couldn't hang with the Broncos and the Saints? I'm sure it could have.
I'm sure it could have.
You're
talking about one night though.
Well,
that's all you need is one night.
Like the Broncos have a brand new quarterback, like the Saints have like a
brand new quarterback, Spencer Rattler.
20 subs. Yeah, like all over the field. So it's like that game's not even watchable.
It's what I'm saying.
I don't even know what the score is. I don't even care.
It was 16-3 at the half.
Yeah, I stopped caring about the Saints when Shaheed got hurt. So
yeah, dude, Spencer Rattler and Bo Nix. Like no one's watching. And actually, the only reason I checked to see if it was still on or what the score was is just to see if who I was playing fantasy football, if they had anybody, and they don't. So I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, so
all right, guys. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. So yeah, I mean, like, I think that either one of those championship games tonight could have hung with the minor league Thursday night game.
Well, they not only should have hung, but I mean, people should have been watching those baseball games over that football game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The viewership should have hung. You know, because I get it, football's king, but I mean, you're talking about
that was garbage football, though.
I understand, but what I'm saying is you're talking about an American League Championship Series, or potentially, and it's got both of the teams that fucking are probably one of the top two most popular teams in the country.
I'll tell you what, I watched Boston College and Virginia Tech a little bit tonight instead of baseball. I'm telling you, dude, like when I see the Yankees go up winning, like, and the Dodgers up, I'm like, well, not tonight.
Well, tonight would have been the night for you to flip over and watch it because they blew it.
Well, some of us have to work.
Hey, I worked 11 hours today.
That's okay. You ain't got a lot to kick it, bro. It's cool.
No, I did. I was popping off emails at 5:30 this morning.
Well, that's because you get up early.
All right,
anyways,
both of you
Astros
news, and I'm going to talk about Astros real quick. So
go ahead.
Astros, by the way, they dropped, if you weren't paying attention on X, not Twitter, that we're going to have the old school jerseys coming back. Yes, that's right. The brick red and black.
Did they? Okay, so
did they announce that, or that was just was that a picture with?
So the only thing that I saw that was remotely close to that was that thing with Scarface, and I think that was just he's having an. I guess now they're doing it with all the Houston rappers now, because I know DJ Screw had one, which was probably the ugliest fucking hat I've ever seen. But
yeah,
I'm not
going to argue with you on that.
This one is like I said, when I saw him. Because I saw like the little hype video, and at first I was like, "Oh shit!" I see the black jersey with the Astros text like Brawls jersey, and I'm like, "Okay, so maybe they're doing something. They're incorporating that jersey with the new." Because I know they're coming out with the new City Connect jersey, and I was like, "Well, I wouldn't call that City Connect. It's just pretty much going back to the old."
It's just knocking the dust off.
Yeah, I mean,
jerseys and bringing them back.
But you're telling, like I said, so tomorrow they're dropping a Scarface limited edition Astros brick red.
Like from the Ghetto Boys Scarface?
Yeah, Houston legend Scarface.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who is not Forrest Whitaker.
It's not Forrest Whitaker.
He's not Forrest Whitaker.
That's wrong, dude.
I had someone say, "Is that Forrest Whitaker?" I said, "No, it's not."
No.
Close, but no.
We got to resemblance, but not really.
I'm laughing way too hard at that. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you were saying something about there was a picture with Jordan wearing the old.
It's on. I saw it.
Yeah. No,
I haven't seen it.
Like this jersey, like pinstripes, black Astros with a brick red, dude.
He's got a bat.
Yeah, and 4-4. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You saw it.
So
still tipping.
So they're bringing. So you're telling me that they're potentially bringing back the old jerseys, like for good. Like that's going to be their new jersey, or
they better. They're not.
No. I don't think that's it by any means, but I think that's a throwback that they're trying to like bring back that they're going to wear like a number of times this year.
That's
Like,
I'm sorry.
I think
It's not the
I
one
think
I
they're
would
about
choose.
to
Yeah, that's
they're
not the one I would
ditching
choose.
the City Connect and they're going with this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
mad about it. I mean, I don't
like the
hate
hat-
it apparently
the
as
hat's
much as
cool.
you guys do.
yeah,
But
I just don't
the
like
one
it.
thing I do want back, if they could bring back the rainbow stripes, that would be the best.
I
Honestly,
mean, they've they've done that before on like a couple of times. That what I don't understand is like why don't like once a month they pick a Thursday home game, do a throwback Thursday, and just wear one of their 19 different old uniforms, and you can do that. You just do a throwback Thursday
Oh,
night.
it's
And
same
then
thing the D-backs did back in the day.
just like once a month. I'm not saying you have to.
Like the
do it
Braves,
every
like the
Thursday.
Braves, and they wear their throwback Braves, the white and blue ones. Those are dirty.
I mean, the only
they're
other thing I can
dirty.
think, I mean, it's just, I mean,
Why
like I
can't they
said,
bring back the late '90s
oh my god,
navy and gold? Like, what
Dude,
is?
yeah.
Like, why is?
I mean,
why
the
are people
only
not,
other
like,
thing I could think of is, I don't know. I mean, like, I get, like, I don't hate the brick red jerseys. I don't. It's just that I feel like if they go back to that, and like I said, even if it's just a throwback, I mean, like that's not really a throwback because that was a uniform they just had 10 years ago.
It was
right?
also at the beginning of the ballpark.
I mean, that was back when it was Enron Field, and we know what happened to Enron.
Yeah, but that was 2001. I mean, that's 23 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but your mid '90s jerseys are like 30 years ago. This makes me feel old.
No,
You stated yourself.
Let's not get on that conversation. But
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean,
no,
they're clean jerseys. It's just like
They ain't
I will
97,
say-
98, 99 clean.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough to beat. That's real tough to beat. I mean, like, I do like I think it was their Sunday variation of those where they got rid of the fucking ugly pinstripes and they just had
solid brick red.
They just had the star on the chest. They were all white unis.
Yeah.
And their hats were red. Like, that shit I thought was super clean.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just don't know why of all the uniforms they keyed in on that one.
Yeah. I'm surprised that we don't hear about. I mean, I don't hear about it at all. But I'm surprised I don't hear about the late '90s dome jerseys, man. Like,
Dude,
I don't get it,
Randy Johnson, like,
I don't get
the
it,
greatest
dude.
jerseys.
Those were awesome.
I mean, I know everyone loves the rainbow jerseys, which I get because
I mean, those are sweet too, right? But like,
yeah, I mean,
those late '90s jerseys, those were filthy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if you're gonna go back and again, I mean, this could just be an alternate, like or it could just be like I'm seeing a lot of teams like in the last 4 or 5 years use their throwback unis for like spring training. I've seen that too. Like, I know the Braves used to. I don't know if they still do.
Tigers did that.
The Braves did. The White Sox kind of did their old school throwback, at least the hats for spring training. And it would be nice to have a distinguished standalone by itself spring training jersey, right? But it's just like, golly, man, I just don't know why you don't go back to the mid '90s. I mean, those have to be their nicest uniform.
Speaking of spring training, maybe you can find that hat for us this year or next year.
Well, I mean,
that mysterious hat that was out there that vanished. That vanished in one day.
I'm just happy that you were able to see the said hat. That you know that I was not.
I did see said hat.
You saw the picture of said hat because I found it and I sent it.
Anybody can do anything on Paint 3D. Okay,
maybe. Well, they did a fantastic job because they replicated the entire Astros shop website.
So when you find that hat, I expect you to text me and say, "Hey, I'm buying 3 of these. Here's the cost."
I said, I'll be at this. I'll be at spring training next year. So if I see it, I'll get 3 of them.
Let's see. I'm a 48. So yeah.
I
Well,
don't
we'll
even know what
see.
size jersey I am. I was talking about hats.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're talking about jerseys. My bad.
Yeah.
All right, so we got big Astros coaching news this week.
Whew.
Everyone, are y'all ready for this?
I'm ready.
Pettis,
Hold on.
Send it.
Let me find it.
Wow, you ruined it already. We're going to need a new third base coach. Mr. Pettis has not had his contract renewed.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have.
Can anybody say why though? That's the whole thing. My
Well,
biggest
why
question
is it news? Why is it
news? Because what else do they have to talk about?
No, I get it. I understand that.
Well,
but
I think it's news because of how long he's been with the team. And I think everybody has grown to appreciate the fact that he rarely holds runners at third. It's like he gives zero fucks. Fucking, he just sends them. So,
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
He was the opposite of our previous third base coach, who was Chief Hold'em Up, going whoa.
Yeah.
Every time, like somebody
who's now our
first Lopes.
No, yes. I thought you were talking about
Dave
Dave
Clark. Dave Clark. That's who I was talking about. Yeah. Well, so the question is, though, who's going to be our third base coach? And the only thing I think of is it's got to be Everett, right? Or who else is going to be our third
Adam
base
Everett?
coach?
Carl Everett?
Yes.
Carl Everett would be fantastic.
No.
He would beat your ass if you don't run through the stops, if you don't run. He's probably the third baseman, dude.
He will elbow you if you try to go through.
Yeah, he'll probably trip you if you're trying to run through his stop.
Like, Carl Everett, stop.
Yeah. Oh. Just like, as you're going through, what do you want?
He would be great.
No, Adam Everett. Because he's in our system. That's why I was saying that, not just like pulling that out of thin air.
Well, I mean,
I thought we were just gonna name off random shortstops. I could throw out Andujar Cedeno from back in the day.
No. Yeah, it's not Miguel Tejada. Like, hey, let's go play third base.
Well, if you want you were around people beating people up, you can always put Julio Lugo there.
That's true. That's not
that would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, like,
all right, we're going off the rails. Sorry.
I mean, I really don't know why. I looked it up. All they said was they decided not to bring him back, and then I continued on with my life.
But he also had cancer at one point, right? Like he
might just be getting too old too.
Yeah. But cool. All right, Mr. Pettis, thank you for serving our third base box that no third base coach ever stands in. We'll see who the new one is, and that's pretty much the news.
Hopefully, Carl Everett.
Yes, Carl Everett, not Adam. Carl. Yes,
Carl freaking Everett.
Now the only other
that was so awesome.
Dude. Now the only other rumor that I've been seeing a lot more traction of it today, because I first told you guys, I think it was like in a text a couple weeks ago, that there's this rumor now that Minute Maid is pulling the rights for the naming of the park. So, and the word on the street is that as they move out, Daikin is going to come in and have the naming rights, which I think they said they're going to name it Daikin Park.
For the record, I thought that was yogurt, not an air conditioning company.
No, it is our competitor.
Yep, it is our competitor. So, which I think Daikin Field would sound a lot better than Daikin Park. But I guess it's a good thing we haven't gotten any merch yet, because now we would have to do a complete rebranding.
Well, it sounds really Mary Cone, but
very.
We could be the Icebox Heroes. There you go. We could be. So that's really the only other thing I've heard of.
Chiller Heroes.
Yeah, there you go. So what are your thoughts on potentially the juice box no longer being the juice box?
probably the same way I felt like whenever Enron changed, like the name's not going to sound good, right? Like, and it's probably going to end up growing on me, like Minute Maid, because that's how I felt. That's how I felt. Like Enron Field just sounded badass. Like, why are we going to have a juice box company be our, you know? Dyken Park, like I think of Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
First thing I hear. So that's cool because I like Lincoln Park, but I don't know, man. Like Minute Maid, it just fits. Dude. It's just juice box. But I'm sure there's gonna be. I'm sure it'll be fine, dude. It's just no one likes change.
Yeah. I mean, the big feedback that I read was hopefully now the AC will actually work at the
Yeah,
stadium.
that's always a good one.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me either. It's like, hey, let's go to Dakin Park. Yay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just gonna take time, no matter what they name it.
I mean,
It's kind of like, and I know this is going to football, and I know we're not in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's where I was headed to.
Pittsburgh was Heinz Field, and you instantly knew what Heinz Field was, and now it's like a Accenture Park or something. I don't even know. It's some technology thing.
Oh, I didn't even know they changed the name. I was going to go back to saying that I called NRG Reliant Field like 3 years after they changed the name.
Yeah. How long did it take you to understand that NRG meant energy?
Today. It's like I haven't been to one of those games probably in about probably since I still worked at Siemens. So at least 6-7 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
All I see is some big monstrosity covering up the Astrodome.
Yeah.
Well, if that is actually the name that's going to go into our new park, it's not, I guess, that bad. One of the ones, like back when I lived in Arizona, they were talking about like the football stadium's going to get like all these new promos and like who's going to pay the most. Well, there was actually a restaurant group that wanted to call the new Arizona football stadium the Pink Taco Stadium.
Yes.
And I am not kidding you at all. They put up, I'm not kidding, $20 million to do it. And then obviously, they didn't go with it. But that would have been hilarious because there was a huge restaurant chain called the Pink Taco.
That's such a great name for a restaurant.
And dude, if that would have been like, and split the uprights in the Pink Taco.
We're live here from the Pink Taco.
There's a weird smell, but hey,
ways to go
smell. Hey, you know what? Yeah.
So at least the Astros aren't live from the Pink Taco. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if they were.
The Dyken, it's going to have to grow if that's the thing. It's just.
We got all the Dykens live in the Pink Taco. Oh wait, what?
Yeah, it pretty much fits.
Sorry.
Like I said, it'll probably be. It'll take some time to get used to.
It's going to take time. That's all.
That's all it is. Like, I think they should go with Dyken Field. I think that sounds better than Dyken Park. If you say it kind of quick, you'll be thinking like, "Hey, let's go see the dikes in the park," and then that could be something.
But that's going to be a thing. Yeah, that's going to be a thing.
Probably.
Right. It's just. I can't. Yeah, we have to stop with that. I have you can do promo nights for that.
We're gonna lose followers.
Shit.
I probably already managed to lose followers.
Who would have thought that it would be an off-season episode that would sink this tank, that would sink this Titanic?
So hey guys, what we're gonna talk about tonight? I gotta hold my beer. Let me tell you.
The 6 ways we're gonna get canceled, all in one conversation.
All in one 50-minute episode.
Are we live or can we actually cut this?
Oh no, we're live. Oh yeah.
Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
There's no cutting. There's
Yeah,
no
there's
cutting.
no cutting. It is officially
Awesome.
on the interweb now. So now anything that will be used against you.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Perfect.
there you go.
All right. Well, I guess I'm not running for Congress now.
Now, I mean, you might actually help your cause to run to Congress with all this shit.
Yeah, so I was listening to sports radio this morning, and they were playing the clip for the Scarface promo.
Mm-hmm. Not Forrest Whitaker.
And not Forrest Whitaker, the Scarface one.
Okay.
Golly, that's good. So one of the lyrics in his thing talked about the drip of the pen, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to the actual video,
No.
but you actually had people. At least this is what the radio was saying, that there was actual people talking about that line in there being an announcement on Bregman, right? And I'm like, are y'all listening to like what y'all are saying? Like the season. First of all, free agency they can't even sign until 5 days after the World Series. That's one. Number two, his agent is Scott Boras. You think he's just going to say, okay, cool, Astros, we're going to sign the first deal you throw at us?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
No, I just
so.
think a lot of people have, because that was the second thing that I noticed popped up with the whole name change. Because I'm guessing they're assuming that Daikin's throwing $50 billion to name the stadium.
Well, they're going to have to, right? You're going to have to outpay what Minute Maid was paying.
And then, but no, I think Minute Maid, the rumor is Minute Maid is pulling out, not like their contract, however long that the name is supposed to be, is up. Like Minute Maid's like, cool story, we're gonna shift our funds somewhere else. But like a lot of people are like, well, good now with Daikin paying all this money, now we can re-sign Bregman. And I'm just like, that money's not going to go to.
That's not how that works. It's not how any of this works.
It's like I just think everybody just needs to prepare themselves that number 2 will not be at third base. And if he is, well,
number 30 is probably not going to be here.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of like rainbows, butterflies, because like them re-signing Bregman is going to have these, like I said, you're going to have to get creative with how you clear space for Bregman, right? Now, pretty much you can kind of clear space for Tucker, after this season because Abreu's contract is over and Montero's. I mean, but you're talking about you're already like knee deep in the second tier of the luxury tax. You've got almost $60 million sitting, at home or making HEB commercials. Yeah. And then, so like,
dude, I keep forgetting about that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would almost think that for you to re-sign Bregman, and again, I mean, this is also like you're probably letting McCormick go. You're not offering him arbitration. You're probably not going to offer arbitration to Jake Myers. And that's like a total of like $6 million that you free up. You probably let JV walk. You probably let Kikuchi walk. And then you probably
shouldn't let Kikuchi walk, by the way.
I mean, even if you bring back Kikuchi, I mean, because like the thing is you're supposed to get Garcia back. The word on the street is he's going to be ready by spring. So you almost are kind of forced to trade Fromber because that's the next guy. So you could trade Fromber, use the value off of the season he just had. I mean, he had a sub-3 ERA. I think it was like 15-7. Maybe get a haul back for him and just hoping that the guys that are supposed to come back.
Well, and then hope that the guys that you trade him for hit.
Well, you're probably going to get prospects for him. You're not going to get.
That's what I'm saying.
But then you're also
one of the prospects hits.
But then you're also like, so now you're in that same deal. Like, do you clear enough money to where you can go sign some bats in free agency to play the outfield, or are you handing outfield to Dubon every single day, and then the everyday center fielder is going to be Pedro Leon, which from what we saw earlier this season.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not enough time. That's not a big enough sample size.
No, I mean, I agree.
I'm not saying he's going to come up here.
Said that, I was like, before you even said that, I was like, no. Like, who are you going to hand the outfield to? And the answer is no. You're not handing the outfield to anybody.
Well, you got to hand it to somebody. I mean,
well, no, we got to go sign guys.
Bring it back? No.
No.
Is Jake Myers worth bringing back? No.
The answer is no.
So,
and are you going to put Dubon out there? No. And do you want Alvarez to be out there? No. You want him to be a DH. That's the whole point. It's like, so you literally need 3 out. Well, no, excuse me. We have Tucker for 1 more year.
Yes.
So you need 2 outfielders
and a backup
for next year, and a backup. Yeah. So you need 3. You need 3 outfielders, and hopefully you can sign Bregman and Tucker, which, I mean, that's a wish and a prayer. I mean,
you still have all of this season coming up to sign Tucker, right? And the good thing is with Tucker and Bregman, I think you have like the first 20 days between, I think, when the playoffs are over and when free agency, like, you have that whole period to have exclusive rights to negotiate with him. Yeah. And then if not, then he hits the free agent market and everybody bids on him. That wants to bid on him. So,
well, my whole deal is you've got to sign Bregman because there is no third baseman behind him. There is nothing we have in our system. Whitcomb was kicking the ball all over the field this year.
He had that one bad game.
No, that wasn't just one bad game, dude. There was he has not had a good MLB showing. Now, don't get me wrong. You and I both saw him in AAA, and he looked really good there. But at the same time, he is a 4A player as of right now. I mean, he doesn't belong in the MLB, in my opinion.
You want to hear a crazy stat?
Give me a crazy stat.
All right, crazy stat, because I went ahead and I looked this up. What do you think Bregman's WAR, which is wins above replacement
average?
So, what do you think his WAR, according to Baseball Reference?
All right, do over under.
Okay. Do you think it's over or under 5?
Under. I say under.
I'm going to say it's 3.2.
I was thinking 2.7, to be honest with you. That was the actual number. Before you said
his WAR was 4.1, right? So why this is so crazy? Because he has the exact same WAR as Jeremy Pena.
Jeremy Pena doesn't play third base.
I'm just saying. So what I'm saying is that for all the times that all of us talk shit about fucking Jeremy Pena, as far as WAR, which, you know, like when we get to the episode where we kind of like get to play GM, that's basically how I'm going to base on who I would sign, who I'd let go. He has the same WAR of Jeremy Pena. So, and again, I'm not saying move Jeremy Pena to third base. What I'm saying is that, like, this is not, I mean, like, not to get too deep into it, the question you have to ask yourself is, have we already gotten the best out of Alex Bregman that we would get if we signed him for another 7 years? Right?
Here's the other factor that I'm going to go ahead and put in on that. And the one thing we lost, especially with Springer, you lose that whole dugout, like, personality, like the one dude that is grabbing people by the jersey and saying, like, hey, we got to get up right now. We got to do this, all that. So you got that guy, plus you got the stats, and plus there's nobody else that's going to play third base better than Bregman right now. And I'm not saying just for our team. I'm saying for any other team.
I get that
in Major League Baseball right now.
I get that 100%. But what I'm saying is, the counter to that argument is that when we let Springer go, right now, granted, I think that was more of a mutual. I think Springer was going to leave regardless, because that was
he wanted to leave. He wanted to be closer to the East Coast. I get it.
That was right when all that shit went down about the trash cans and all that stuff. How has he done since then? He has been an injury machine.
He's been ass
since then, right?
And it sucks to see.
No,
but I'm glad he's not. I'm glad we're not paying
I'm glad
him.
we let him go.
And we were still able. Now that guy that you're talking about grabbing the jersey, hey, get your shit together. That was Correa. I don't remember ever seeing Springer do that. And the year after Correa walked, we won a World Series. Now again, and again with Springer, we had Kyle Tucker coming up to replace him, right? I'm not saying Jeremy Pena was anywhere on the same level of a prospect that Kyle Tucker was, but they were able to hand the ball off to Jeremy Pena, and we won a World Series. So again, the two questions I have to ask, and I'm talking like I'm stripping myself of my Astros fandom. One question which I've already asked is, have we gotten the best of Alex Bregman that he has to offer? Like, has he plateaued and he's going to start on the down? My next question, which I brought up last week, was, is Alex Bregman, like, do us re-signing Bregman, does that put us over the top and make us World Series favorites? Or is us re-signing Bregman just get us back into the playoffs? That's the question. So these are the things that, the Astros are going to have to think about, which I'm already pretty much expecting him to be gone. I mean, like, his post he made on Instagram and X, and after the last game of the regular season, and I think you said it, there was no, hey man, we'll see what happens. Let's get him next year. It was a thank you
because he's a free agent.
I understand.
He's not going to say let's get him next year because he don't know.
I understand, but what I'm saying is
I think they all have to do. It's not they don't have to, but they.
Yeah,
I don't look that much into it. I just assume he's gone.
I'm willing to bet it's an 85-15 split. He's gone. 85%.
He probably wants to stay. Honestly, he probably does. But he also, how many times in these players' careers are they going to be able to hit free agency? The good ones.
I understand.
Right? And they want to go test the market, and they're allowed to. And he's a Boris guy, and he's going to get, Bregman's going to get probably overpaid solely because his name says Alex Bregman.
Right? I agree.
So I think if you back up to your question number 2, if signing Bregman puts us over the top to win a series or just get us into the playoffs, we kind of talked about this offline during the week, and sometimes I hate when I talk to you during the week because we have really good conversations while I'm driving around the greater Houston area. But there are so many holes on this team that have to be fixed, right? Yeah. Signing one player, I don't think, puts you over the top. And if you go based on how 2024 was, what was it that he was good enough to get us to the playoffs, right?
In the worst division in baseball.
In the worst division, right? Where we thought that it was going to be a little bit tougher. We actually had the AL Central as the worst division. They put 3 teams in the damn thing.
Yeah.
So there's so many holes on this team that you have to fill, you have to fix. And if we're going to run it back with the 1 through 5 guys being the only guys that know how to freaking hit a damn baseball, we're going to be in the same thing. Now we're not playing for banners anymore. We're playing for division titles that they don't even hang a banner for, right? Yeah. And that's not what we're about. So I would love to see Bregman back here because it's Bregman.
Yeah.
But I think the trend is going to have to continue where you say bye, and you just got to restart. I mean, you're going to sit here and pay this guy at 36, $40 million a year to hit 240. I'm not saying he's going to, but I'm just saying, like the possibility of it is, right?
I mean, I agree with you 100%.
It's tough, man. I'm so glad that I'm not a GM because I mean, that's probably why they don't get guys from the hometowns to be the hometown team GM because they're probably too big of homers. Like you'd be a terrible one, Chris. You'd be terrible.
What are you talking about? You're fantastic.
So your homer hat would be on all the time. But
here's
the deal. I think it's just. I think you don't. You just. I'm sorry. I'm going to assume that he's gone because He's a Scott Boras client, and if he comes back,
so is Altuve.
Yeah, but Altuve's in a different position because he's older and he was already up in age.
Yeah.
Right. And he's in a different situation. So with Bregman, he's first time he's going to hit free agency. It's probably going to be his last contract to get. He's going to maximize every single penny that he can out of this winter. I also think the Astros are smart enough to, unfortunately, they're smart enough to not pay these 10-year contracts where they pay these guys in their 40s to suck. So I don't know, man. I just think there's so many holes that, and I know we're going to get into that in different episodes, but there are so many things that need to be fixed because you can't run that same 6 through 9 out and have automatic outs. And, we're not playing for division championships. We're trying to hang banners here, so.
Here's what I agree with. I definitely agree with the fact that we don't need to have Bregman here if he's on like a 10-year contract. Like there's no way that we need to have anybody on our roster that is over the age of 36, unless they're some once in a lifetime amazing like baseball player. So
it was JV.
Well, no, I get that.
Uh-huh.
And don't get me wrong. That is JV. JV's a different animal. So put him aside. So we're talking about Bregman right now. We're talking about third baseman today. Would you take a third baseman over Bregman? And I honestly can't think of anybody. I mean, there might be a couple of guys that could compare to him, but are you going to take somebody that's better than him? So you sign him to a 5 to 6 year contract, whatever that max value is. I don't care what it is. And you sign him to that. Now, let's go back into the outfield just because we were talking about Tucker. We have 2 giant holes right now in the outfield. We have 2 guys that have no business being in a Major League Baseball like center field or left field position or in the lineup. Yes, correct. So it's who are you going to put there? I don't know, but guess what? You can probably go get Jason Hayward, who looked pretty freaking awesome for what? 1.2, 1.3, like per year, put him on a 1-year contract. Why not? Like, do something like that. You can figure it out. Go get Ben Gamble again. Ben Gamble looked pretty damn good when he was playing the outfield. Get these guys in there and then take care of Tucker. I don't know what's going to happen, but if you can't take care of Tucker, at least you got your corner infielder taking care of everything you need to, plus hitting 300 every single season and only sign him to 5 seasons or 5 years. Excuse me. Don't go sign him to a 10-year contract, Chris. Like you were saying, it's like if he wants a 10-year contract, then let him walk. Go to the Yankees. Go let the Yankees pay him $350 million for 10 years. Because guess what? That's only going to pay off for 5 years. It ain't paying off any more than that.
Well, if the Yankees miss out on Soto, they're going balls deep on Bregman.
Yeah, probably.
They're going balls deep on both of them. Guys, do you realize how much the Yankees make globally?
No, I mean, yeah, but Soto is their number one. That's their number one.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree with that.
And they will not lose out to the fucking Mets. I guarantee you. They will outbid the Mets just for straight spite. No, but Soto's – I still forget that clown's 24 years old, dude. Like, it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can't stand him, but 24.
I mean, either way, there's still so much and so much time that we could spend looking at it. Me personally, I think freeing up the Bregman money gives you a lot of leeway to fill a lot of these holes.
Look,
but again,
let's use Moneyball. Okay, let's set the scene of Moneyball when they're in the conference room. They're trying to find
the last dog at the bowl.
That's it. Last dog at the ball. And we're not, but we're
I don't
kind
think
of.
they are, though.
Well, no, what I'm getting at is that you're not going to find a replacement for Bregman.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not. So you're going to have to go out and
Not even
find
close.
guys that match what Bregman did offensively or whatever, right? Like you're not going to find a Bregman. Not right now. And if they did, we can't pay him. I'll see Alex Bregman leaving.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to have to piece this. This is where the Dana Brown thing comes into, like, how good are you really, Dana Brown? Or how good are you really, whatever committee we fucking have, right? Because now is going to be a time, like, they have to anticipate not getting Bregman back. And then now you got 4 guys in your lineup that can hit. The rest of them can't.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, and like I said, man, we've got a plethora.
We've got a few months to talk about
We've
this.
got a few months to talk about this. I mean, so I'm actually shocked that we're over an hour now on this
Oh, wow.
live episode. So
I just saw that.
yeah, I mean, so I mean, we'll definitely, like I said, we'll get through the playoffs, and we'll definitely get to put on our GM hats over the next few months, and hopefully, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, because you never know. Maybe they find some way to get Bregman on a 5-year deal. I doubt it, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool
So
if they did. It'd be really cool.
So let's go ahead and go ahead and wrap this this episode up. PK, why don't you take us home?
Hey, quick NCAA football thing. If y'all don't know, Texas is hosting Georgia this weekend, Saturday night. Let's go. Let's keep number 1.
Hook 'em, baby.
Hook 'em, baby. But as always, I'm PK. That's Chris. That's Bryles. And you're listening to the Juice Box Heroes podcast. We'll see you.
All right, we're stopped.
All right, cool.